here, okay, and you will find that it talks about the SA32s and how to get them from HMRC. If someone had told me that a few weeks ago, I would have saved myself literally 4 months of pain, because it kept going back between myself and the lender and the mortgage broker, and I didn't know that I couldn't get hold of my SA32s. I just kept submitting the SA100s. Basically, this talks you through what you have to do. In a nutshell, you have to tell your accountant to phone HMRC and give your details, and HMRC will then send you copies of the SA302s, and that's what I'm currently waiting for. No one told me this before. I had to find this out, and also onto HMRC's website, you have mortgage providers here. So this is gov.uk. You've got a list of mortgage providers that are definitely going to ask you for your SA32s. So when your mortgage provider broker points you towards a mortgage provider, so whether it be Aldermore or Atom Bank or any of these, they are definitely going to want that particular document from you. Some of them will accept the SA100s, which is what your accountant will generate when he's submitting your tax liabilities onto the HMRC website. But in general, these funders here are definitely going to want to see your SA302s and also an estimation or a correct summary of how much tax also, if you come down to this website and you read down here, it gives you the details that your accountant needs to give to the HMRC on your behalf, or if you're going to do it yourself, that's a list of the things there, and also the likelihood of how long it's going to take. It's not a quick process, so if you're going to do it before, if you can, before you apply for a mortgage, because it does take, they say 7 to 10 days. I've read in some blogs where people are talking 2 months before they even get that information. So if you've secured a deal using various methods, we could call it an option or whatever you want to call it, if you haven't allowed enough time in there, then you are probably going to lose that deal. So you need to ensure that you get your documentation ready before you secure the deal, so that you can then have enough time to be able to complete the transactions in regards to the property. So I'll put on there, point number 7, gather your SA302s or your SA100. Ensure that your figures stack up, okay? Because they're going to send you an application form, and they might send you another application form, and you've got to make sure that whatever figures you've got stack up, and that they stack up on the paperwork. What I did was I created a spreadsheet, and I put all the figures on there so that they stacked, and then I could just simply take those figures and put them into the spreadsheet. You can copy and paste, but I would say make sure you type them in so that you know, or copy and paste them, but check them and make sure they stack. Nothing worse than you thinking a deal stacks up and then you put in the wrong information, and then the building society come back to you, or your mortgage broker will come back to you and say the figures don't really match. Yeah, that's another good one. If you were working with a partner, so somebody else is going to put the funds in there for you, remember that you've got to do all of the checks with those. So you need somebody that's compliant in regards to a property sourcer, but also you need to be aware of P13/3, which talks about sophisticated investors and all the requirements that you need to check that their money has come from a legitimate source, and also that you have got the same long-term vision. I've seen quite a few and traded a few property deals where 2 investors have got together, and then all of a sudden one investor needs to sell because they need the money back for something else. I'm currently doing a few deals where this is actually the case, or the investor themselves have not stacked the deal properly. They've done the refurbishment, then they found out that the money they borrowed to do the refurbishment, they've had to go back and get some more, so all of a sudden then the yield from the property doesn't stack, and then they've had to sell the deal. So just bear these things in mind. I think if you do all of that, you should be okay. So going through it, go to Experian, get your credit chart file checked, create a Dropbox folder, find a mortgage broker, gather your bank details, deal with any issues with your credit files, stop any unnecessary direct debits to standing orders if you don't need them, decide on your target audience or your target tenants who you're going to have in the property, what rents you're going to be getting so that you can do your spreadsheet, gather your SA302s, SA100s, ensure that your figures stack, and if you're working with a partner, ensure that you get on and that you're going to have a good long-term relationship. Otherwise, it's going to not be a very happy experience for you both. And secure the deal and ensure that you have enough time to be able to complete the transaction. The last thing you want to do is to be applying for a mortgage and then the deal falls through, you get the mortgage, and then you're running around to try and find a deal and you don't know if it's going to stack, but you're going to become a motivated buyer and you'll buy anything just because you've got this. And especially if you're borrowing funds off other investors and that money's sitting in your bank account. So listen, subscribe down there. There's other property tips to do with my property journey. If you need any advice, by all means, just send me a quick email. I can only give general advice, and this is not financial advice. It's just my tips on my journey that I've learned, some of the, I suppose you could say, warts and all things that I've learned through property investing. I hope you find this useful, and good luck with property investing.